Greetings everybody, Admiral Neelix here and welcome to Server 21. It's been a while since I've done a video, but I've come across something that I think is worth mentioning, and maybe we can all get in on this to see if it can be fixed. But this video is going to be about what to look for when choosing a skin, a phaser enhancer, and even crew, you know, as far as the lower deck abilities and things like that. So before I get into all that, thank you viewers, commenters, subscribers. You guys have been great. All you commenters, you're helping me out, and you're being great about understanding that everybody has a different situation. Okay, you can tell me to use a certain crew for a certain ship. You can tell me to do a certain thing here or do a certain thing here. However, I may not have things that fit that situation to be able to do so. But somebody in my crew or in my server perhaps might have a similar situation to where I can pass it on to them and it helps them awesomely. So thank you very, very, very much. All right, so skins. What I'm going to show you is like what skins do what, how to find that out. What phaser enhancers do what, how to find that out. And then of course some of the lower deck abilities. That way you'll kind of know, like, well, do I get this skin or not? Is it worth it? Is it just going to be just for looks? Or does it actually have an ability? So we're going to go to that. Let me go ahead and set up here. And we're going to go ahead and get into refits. And you'll see here to the right that you'll have somewhat of a little lineup of what you have for ship. As far as Auger goes, this is the only one that I have two skins for. I have the TOS Bird of Prey to make it feel nostalgic into the old TOS days. And then, of course, I got the new one here for the Auger, which I think makes it look cool. See, the thing is, I love the color red. I really do. And so I think this is beautiful. I really do. Anyways, what do they do? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Unlock More down here on the bottom right. And you're going to see the lineup of ships that you can get a skin for. Okay, now not all of them do something. We're going to go back to the old Enterprise D here. And you'll see over here on the right, it just says Unlocked. There's no description. It doesn't say gives you more warp speed. It doesn't say it'll honk at you if you're crossing the street. It doesn't say that it prefers bananas over oranges. Okay, all it is just for looks, and that's all it'll do is just make your ship look like a poor beat up Enterprise D, which I disagree with them by doing this. But in my mind, I think maybe that there's a plan to actually have the Enterprise D as a ship instead of a skin, and that hopefully if they do that, I said do that it's a beautiful, brand new, clean looking ship, because I hate those scorch marks. That's why I don't use that skin. It provides nothing, and it just makes it look like an old dirty ship. So I don't even use it, right? I think it came free with one of the events, and that's why I have them, because they even gave away the one for the Enterprise A, which is still just basically the same damn thing. So I'm not going to use it for that either. I prefer the nice, clean look of the ship. So it doesn't do anything. Auger refit, we're going to go to this one. Increase all base mitigation stats of the Auger by plus 200%. So whatever mitigation stats the Auger already has, this skin is going to add to that by 200%, right? So there you go. I just answered your question on how do I find out if the skin does something or not. You just simply tap on them, and it'll tell you if it does or not. I really like this one. I got this one for my disco the other day. I didn't get it when it first came out, unfortunately. Gain 50% more officer shards in each Discovery recruit chest, and add Lorca to pool of officers. That actually worked. I got Lorca added to my thing, and I'm getting more officer shards while I'm recruiting from the Discovery recruit tab. So awesome. Thank you, right? I already showed that I have the one for the Bird of Prey TOS. Plus 70% to weapon damage of the Auger against hostiles. Okay. I'm going to stop reading those here because I have a problem or a concern with this particular one. I'll get into that in just a second. What I'm going to do is show you projectiles, and I'm going to just pick the first one here. This one here will say no description. All it's telling me here is that I have 17 out of 25 of them, and I haven't unlocked it yet. But it's just for looks. So whenever when the animation goes as my ship is firing, you're going to see a big old green phaser coming out of that ship just to make it look cool. Alright? It doesn't care for grapes over cantaloupe. It doesn't want to hold your hand. It doesn't want to meet your mom. It does nothing. Okay? Over here, you're going to find the one that I do have added on there, positron phaser, and here's another one that I'm going to have a concern with that we'll talk about in just a second. Increase weapon damage by 10%. Now I got to tell you, for a while it seemed to have come in handy. Alright, and why do I say that? We're going to get into that in just a moment. Now you have ship cloaking. Ship cloaking is pretty self, you know that word that just jumped out of my mouth when it's trying to describe itself. Alright, it's just whatever ships that are going to have cloaking available. Alright, so that's how you find out what the skin does. That's how you find out what the projectile does, and then of course what ships are going to be cloakable. So let's go ahead and go back here. My concern. Okay, now here's where I'm probably, well, you know what? Let's go on to officers. Let me get into this real quick before I go into my rant. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you. This is the crew, the standard crew that I have on my auger. Now, if it should say, like on a Wednesday, that you need some kind of Cerritos help or the lower deck abilities thing along with an exocomp and yada yada, then what I'll do for the officers that I have available, I'll come here to below deck ability and I'll add Badgie, and I'll take a look at his info, and you'll see that of his attack and defense and health is going to be the higher number of the three. So what I incline to do is I'm going to put him instead of an officer that deals with health. Now Nero and 6 of 11, they're the two on that lower deck right now that deal with health. Nero has a higher health, so I'm going to go ahead and put Badgie where 6 of 11 is, and you would have noticed most likely that my health and attack and defense on the right there had probably jumped down. Now if you didn't, let me go ahead and bring them back up and put them there. You'll see that those numbers jumped up. All right, the defense and health, they jumped a little bit there. So I add Badgie there. Yeah, it'll bring those down, but it's going to help me complete the event mission on Wednesday. All right, that's all that's required to do, and that's why I use them. But since I have them there, let's go ahead and take a look at what you're reading here. Some of the lower deck ability people will have 3 options. Usually you have the 2. You have the captain, you have the officer ability. Now because the lower deck, you're going to have 3. However, some of them are going to say, as a captain, he's unfit to lead. Captain maneuver, unfit to lead. This officer does not have a captain's maneuver. Equipping this officer as the captain of a ship provides no benefit. It's not going to call you after the 3rd day after the first date. Okay? It's not going to lead you across the street when you're 68. It's not going to do anything for you, except there is one exception. The exception is, let's say you want to test pound for pound your ship against another ship with no crew at all. Then you can put him in the captain seat. Your ship will launch, it will go into battle, it will do whatever, but there will be no crew ability to it. So therefore you can find out what your ship all by itself can do without a crew. Okay, little nickel's worth of advice if you're into testing your own abilities. All right, but we have officer ability down here. Wee murder. Badgie decreases the armor, shield deflection, and dodge of all non-Armada opponents by 12%. Okay, so reds, and basically it does not specify PvP over PvE, so I'm thinking it kind of works on everybody except Armadas. Alright, now, below deck ability, 3rd option. Haha, you're gonna die. Badgie increases armor penetration, shield penetration, and accuracy by 23%. Now, your numbers will be different from mine. Mine will be different from yours. This is only a level 10 badgie. I haven't really worked on them, so don't complain there, all right? But having him on lower deck, there's the advantage, okay? I'm going to show you another advantage. When I am hunting when I am hunting Borg, and when I am hunting the exchange ships in exchange space, I put Lahan on the bottom deck. Why? Because as a bottom deck officer, you'll see that she's unfit to lead. She makes the warp drive a little faster, but her secure logistics, she increases the ship's base max cargo by 25%. Okay, so when I'm hunting for nanoprobes and when I'm hunting for security codes from Eclipse Space, I want to take home as many as I can per trip. So therefore, instead of adding somebody to the bridge like Ston, okay, Ston will add more cargo space. However, you have to break the integrity of the trio that's on the bridge. So having a lower deck officer now that does that very thing, you are not taken away from the Pike, Moreau, and Chen trio. You understand that? Okay, you're keeping the integrity of what those three do, because if you put Lon there, that trio doesn't exist no more. It's not going to kill as many ships. And because her officer ability is a warp drive thing, you're not going to get that extra cargo space, you're just going to get there faster. Okay, that's it. So that's why lower deck officers really should be paid attention to. What do they do? Okay, that way you're not breaking up the trio. So let's go ahead and take a look at Strike Force Una, right? She only has the captain and she has Crushed Their Hopes. That's her officer ability, right? But let's go to, I don't think I want to, I think Lawn is the only one with the third option. Yeah, Lawn, she is, that I'm aware of. She's the only one that has the three options there. And this is where we joke whether or not Scopely has ever seen Star Trek at all. One, why do they not make it to where Spock can be useful on the bridge of the Enterprise? He's part of the trio. And two, Lahan from Strange New World was not a cargo officer. She was a security officer, as I believe. Okay, Scopely, start watching the show. All right. Anyway, I mean, because you have officers that do stuff in the movies that they don't do for this game. You have them doing other stuff that baffles the mind. Anyways, okay. Here's where my rant begins. So I would have had Badgie there. I'm going to confirm that. All right. We're going to go to refits, and I would have the red skin on. We're going to go to projectiles, and you'll see that I have positron phaser, right? So as my ship is right now, I take it up to Romulan space. They have these level 49 ships. There's two types. There's going to be the heavies. There's going to be the regulars. Okay. Let me go ahead and see if I can show you one if I haven't shown you before. As you'll see here in the middle of the screen, you'll see heavy Romulan transport. Those are very hard to kill. As you see in the middle of the screen now, Romulan transport without the word heavy. These are the ones that once your epic ship gets strong enough, you can go up there and you can hit it twice. Now, I think this Van Veli, let's go ahead and see how many times it takes. I'm going to touch this hull real quick. Okay, so he's able to kill it in one shot. His augers seem to have been a pretty good set. It's at 43, and it looks like he's not using really that big of enhancers, right? So he was able to kill that Romulan transport with one shot. However, had it been a little weaker, you would have seen him have to take 2 hits just to kill it. That means the red would have survived the first attack, barely, so then you go in for a second attack. Then you build up your auger a little more, and then it's able to start killing them in one shot. Or you start using these enhancers, which is the phaser thing. You got Badgie on the bottom, or Beckett, or whoever, and you have the skin. I had all that. I'm able to kill 11 in a trip. I can kill 11, and then use Cloak to kill a 12th, go home, repair, do that 12 again, and then repair, and then go back and hit my 25th one, which is the requirement of my dailies. Now, here's my concern. Just to test where my ship was, I took all of that off. I took all of that off. I took the skin off. I took the phasers off. This is the crew that I use. I go up there, and guess what? I'm killing 11 regular and then cloaking for a 12th. I'm still having to make 3 trips to go there. My goal is to do 13 at least per trip, so I only have to do 2 trips. And then, of course, grow from there. Does the skin, does the phaser, do the characters, do they work at all? Because if I'm still able to kill 11 and then use a cloak to kill a 12th and then need to repair or even blow up on the next ship, with or without all that stuff, do they work? Test that out on your stuff. If you have any of that available to you, test that out on yours. Are they showing an improvement? And if not, let's all get to Scopely by way of making a ticket or going to the website and saying, hey, these don't work. Can you fix them? That's how you make Scopely aware that certain things are broken. And that is going to be it for this video, y'all. I hope it was informative. I hope you learned something, and let's get together and see if all this stuff works. And until next time, have fun and take care.